So here we're solving a problem like this. And the key thing about this one that we're talking about is that you're using a calculator. And the one main thing I want to talk about is that you don't want to round when you use your calculator. Because the key thing about calculators is that you can type a lot into them, especially if you have a good calculator. The calculator we're going to be using today, the calculator I always use, is NumWorks. It looks like that. You can download it for free in the App Store. That's what we're going to be using. So what are we going to do to solve this problem? Well, we just have to get x by itself. So what do we need to get away from the x? Well, we need to get this entire fraction away from the x. And that's not like, that's scary maybe, but it doesn't need to be difficult because we're just going to subtract it to the other side. So we're going to have 54.06 minus 2 over 17.931 equals 2.78x. And so what now? Like, this seems kind of scary, but we have a calculator, so it's fine. We're not going to use the calculator till the end, but we're just going to type all this into the calculator. What do we have to do to get the x by itself? We got to divide by 2.78. Divide by 2.78. And so that's what x equals right there. So we don't need to write that again. But now what we're going to do is we're going to get like the decimal value of that. We're going to plug all that into the calculator and see what that equals. So the thing about the calculator is people think that it's easy to use, and it is once you know how to use it, but it's not always obvious of how to use it. But one nice thing about NumWorks is when we type this in, and if we do it right, we can make it look exactly how we have it written there. Like here, but see, I think what we have to do is we have to use parentheses to get it to do the right thing. So go to the front, go to the back, and then divided by 2.78. And see how that's the same thing we have there. We hit enter, and so that is about 19.4, what does it say, 2 decimal places? So that means we need to round up to 19.41. And there we go. That's what x is going to equal. It's harder to plug back in because it's a decimal. So we'll just trust that that's what x equals. But here's another important thing to point out. Notice how I wrote this. That x equals that, but then approximately equals that. That's something that's really important to me. I don't know how important it is to other people, but if you round, you should signify that you rounded by doing the squiggly equal signs. And because if it's a straight equal sign, you got to assume that it's exactly that. But if it's not exactly that, if you rounded, you really ought to do those squiggly equal signs to signify that. So x is exactly equal to that big scary fraction, but it's approximately equal to 19.41.